Okay, so let's move on to next session, Introduction to Large Language Models, LLMs. So, what are large language models, LLM? A large language model is actually a type of generative AI model which mainly processes and generates textual content. So, they deal with the unit of content in the units of token. For most of the LLMs, the given input and expected output are both textual format and formulate in the unit of a token. So they can deal with the input paragraph and generate a specific output based on the prompt instructed by the users. And here are some two types of models available today. Is the open and closed source models. And some of LLMs are closed source. You can only access through API like OpenAI GPT-4 or GPT-4o. But there's an emerging community in the open source for those models. They are like Llama 2 or Llama 3 in recent days, and also there's a lot of open source model available on Hugging Face as well that you can select from. We will introduce that in the course as well. And so, how do we actually select like which model to use? So if you want maximum usability or power usage, then you don't have like, for example, local GPU or powerful enough to run large language model, then I would suggest you can choose like closed source model. But if you want to have maximum controllability and privacy, you want to send data over the API, then you can select like open model as a way to download the model weights and run inference on the fly on your own computer. So how to choose the right LLM for your Gen AI project? That's really interesting. So how do I choose for that? Also, there's a various factors to consider. The first one is model size. There's the various model size in 2 billion, 7 billion, 8 billion, 13 billion, 17 billion, or even more. There's also like having 400 and even 500 billion parameter size models available as an open source model. And also, like we were talking about quality, like the benchmark leaderboards, like how well this model performs on various benchmark, and also the per-trained data source. What are the areas of data source it trained on? Especially for open source model, they were discourse lab, and so you can understand what are the area where they have a data or domain knowledge in. And also, if your model is you can use as API access, or you can self-host your own model. And closed-source model, of course, you can access to API, but sometimes you can fine-tune it, or sometimes you cannot. It depends on the provider that you are choosing. So there are some of a question to clarify, so that you can understand how to choose the right LLM for my project. So first one is, what is the most important factor to consider, like ownership, privacy, controllability, or something else? If you want controllability, or you want ownership, or you want data privacy, then open source model, I would say the only option that you can choose from. But if you don't consider that as the most important thing, then yeah, of course you can choose local or open source projects. Sometimes it could be more cost effective and more like more efficient way to run this model. So how to choose the right LLM for my Gen AI project? So there are some questions to clarify as well. So how many local hardware are available for fine-tuning or even inference? So there's a sufficient amount of local GPU that is available for your company or your individual projects, then yeah, you can consider open source model. But if you are limited, or like for example, you don't have a GPU available now, then I would suggest you to choose closed source model or use API access for open source model.